Hi, how are you? I hope you're all well. This is a video that I've decided to make about using Notion. And I've decided to make this video on the back of the post that I put up yesterday. And today, I put it up today. I'm going to post this tomorrow, though, so yesterday. How have I already managed to do this? Have I already managed to get myself in a twist? I don't know. It's some sort of classic talent I have. Anyway, I have been using Notion now for about 6 months, I think, and I find it a really useful tool. It is part of my sort of general things that I use. I use my phone a lot for I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, what do I need to do? And I will just bring myself up on my notes, my to-do list, and I'll just pop it in there. And I do that because often I think of things when I'm walking around and I just need to get them written down, because if we don't write them down, they're gone into the ether. So my notes app on my phone is just a repository for a lot of sort of information. I also use my bullet journal. This is a really important document for me, and it just sort of keeps me on task with a lot of things. I draw myself out a visual diary every week. I just find it's super helpful for allowing me to plan my time, I guess, as much as anything else. And then, as I've shown before on these, we have things in the house. We have these checklists that sit on the fridge, and they just tell us what needs to be done every single day, and has it been done? Do I know that the cats have been fed? And I know that for some people, they might really seem a bit OTT. I guess when you've got 4 children and 9 horses and 6 dogs and bunnies and cats and poultry, you need some way of nailing it down to make sure that it doesn't get forgotten. So, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, whatever. So I just like to throw things out that help people. Anyway, my use of Notion came about mainly from reading this book, Building a Second Brain. I will do more on this another time, but building a second brain is basically about getting all that information out of your head so that it frees your head up to think, and so you've got everything safely elsewhere. Now, there are various different note-taking apps out there. This one is Notion. This is the one that I like to use. There are others. There's Evernote, there's things like that. But the point of these is mainly is that they can be used sort of between all sorts of things. So I use this on my laptop. As you can see, I'm on Safari here, and I also have it on my phone. And my phone, it's really important to have it on my phone because it means I can use it as I go around in a slightly different way to the brain dump that I use for notes. I've set myself up here a Notion demo board. The best thing I can say with Notion is just to get it and to play with it and to see what you can do. So if I go, this is my Notion demo board. You can see it's mirrored here. My to-do, clients, interesting links, idea. But this obviously aren't my real clients. But anyway, I'll go through that in a minute. But here's my to-do list. And you can see that within the to-do list, this isn't actually my real to-do list. I was just, making a point of things that I can do. So, for example, it's easy enough to upload a picture into there. It's easy enough to write extra notes in. Here, I've added a page within it. I think this is an empty page currently. But it's an incredibly flexible way of using it, much more. I personally have found it much more useful and much more flexible than something like Trello. However, you can still have boards in it, a little bit along the lines of Trello. So again, these aren't actually these aren't my real clients. But if I have a call come in, or an email, it's usually an email, and I have a client, I can say, okay, so my client is client@123.com. All right, so that's the email address. Sometimes they give me a location in that original email. Sometimes they might give me a phone number. Usually they'll sort of say where they are. And then they might say something like feeling overwhelmed. All right, so I've just got a few notes there, and I will then reply to them and say, oh gosh, yes, I can absolutely help you with that stuff. Send me, and I'll send them my link. And then hopefully my next step is that they will book a call. And when they book the call, they might write a little bit more information in that. They might write their address, planet Earth. So they might give me their address, so I can write that in their address. And then I'll actually, have a call with them, during which time I can bring this up again, and I can write a heap more things that, they may give me a tour of the house on the thing. So we might say, okay, bedroom 1, lots of things in the way of the wardrobe. Okay, and then I can go through this, and then that means that I've got information as well, that if they then book, I can send that. If they book with Natalie, I can instantly send that information on to Natalie, obviously with their permission. And then hopefully after that, at some point they will book. So I'll say, okay, session booked. I don't actually move into working with until I actually get to their houses, because things happen and I like to keep. So then say, okay, I might get to their house. And then when I'm in their house, we can make a list of what we actually want to do that day. So let's say we want to make a list of what we're doing that day, to-do list, and we might say declutter clothes. And then I might also leave them with some stuff afterwards, like take to charity shop. Whoops, can't spell. Take to charity shop. And then I can also have extra information in there, such as I can put a photo in if I'm, if it's a sort of a specific thing, and I think, okay, actually, I could really do with having a photo here. What do I have here that I can upload? Oh, I think that might be a picture of my bedroom. Okay, there we go. Might be too big because I'm on the cheap. I'm on the cheap option. So I think actually that was a little bit, as in I'm on the one that doesn't. Actually, what does that one say? What to do with half-finished projects? Is that too bad? There we go. Look, I've uploaded that one. So I might. It's over the limit. Oh well, never mind. No, I think that was over the limit of the last one. Because I can easily write. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Moving on. The point is that I can put photos of things as we go along, so I can just keep an eye on what's going on, and that's a really good thing for doing, because sometimes I end up with a paused client because for one reason or another, whatever, I need to pause them, or they need to pause me, or and so then it means that when I then come back to working with them, I can then just open it all up and run with it. When I've finished with them, they can pop in the archive. They can hop in the archive instead of in this. So that's how I use my board for clients, and this is just one that I made up. It's relatively straightforward to do. And then, for example, here's an interesting link. So I often find out, I'll often go across stuff and think, oh, this is an interesting link. I want to keep that. I might need it for later. So I can just drop it in here. There's the link down there. I might give it a category: ADHD, sustainability, menopause. These are a lot of the things that are dear to my heart, is ADHD, menopause, and even death cleaning. It's something I really get into. Probably sounds a little bit morbid, but I love it. So anyway, so that's interest. That's an easy thing for me to do, just to whack stuff in there. I've also got, for example, in this one, tidying book notes. Let's go here. Within each of these is the notes I've made from that. Is the notes I've made from that particular book. Essentialism, Tiny Habits, Build a Second Brain. This is a really long set of notes I made from this. And as I say, I'm going to go into this. You can see I've put a photo into it. I'm going to go into Build a Second Brain at another date. And then here, ideas for content. This is basically me saying, all right, sometimes I'll just be walking along and I'm like, oh, what should I? Oh, that's a really good idea. Maybe I'll do that. So I put up my ideas for content, and I can just whack stuff in it. And I just like the fact that it's just so flexible. There's a huge amount of flexibility within it as something to play with. As I say, I am going to go through Build a Second Brain because I think it's a really useful thing to do. And if you do want to use something like Notion or Evernote or something like that, I honestly suggest just getting it and playing with it. When you start playing with it, start with it as a not as a not important thing. Just see what you can do with it, because you'll just find it builds and builds. But with Notion, for sure, playing with it is the best way to start. I'm not sure if that's been useful or not. I hope it was vaguely useful. So do let me know if you found it useful. And if you didn't find it useful, don't let me know, because I get sad. I get sad when people are like, I didn't like that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry you did not like the stuff I put on the internet. Somebody on the internet disagrees with me. Anyway, right. So I'm going to stop this, and let me know how you got on with it.